This is a quick video about Lebanon, where it seems that Saudi Arabia is very angry and mad on this tiny country, and it has expelled the Lebanese ambassador from Riyadh and also called the Saudi ambassador from Lebanon, and also urged other Gulf countries to withdraw their ambassadors from Lebanon and expel the Lebanese ambassador from their own countries and cut the economic ties with Lebanon. I mean, why Saudi Arabia is that angry and mad on this tiny country? If you watch the news, you get the impression that Saudi Arabia is angry because the Lebanese Minister of Information, George Kardahi, who is a very famous, with a great reputation person, has stated that the Saudi war on Yemen is unjust and it's absurd. But the truth is, he stated this before he became a minister. So why did they dig in now in this statement, and they are asking Lebanon to force George Kardahi to resign, and if Lebanon doesn't do that, then they will keep their relations cut with this tiny country. And we know that Lebanon is also relies in some way or another on a Saudi funding, especially the bloc called 14 March Coalition, who are the anti-Syria, anti-Iran, and anti-Hezbollah bloc in the parliament. So, but if you dig in and you understand why Saudi Arabia at this moment decided to escalate, we will understand the situation in a better way. So this has nothing to do with the statement of George Kardahi. This statement was old. It was before he became a minister. This is just a excuse, justification, pretext to escalate for the Saudi escalation in Lebanon. The truth is, Saudis and their allies in Yemen are losing in Ma'rib. And Ma'rib is a very important governorate in Yemen. And if the Saudi allies lose Ma'rib, the tides will turn. The table will turn upside down. And the fighters, the militants who are fighting against the Saudi allies there, are backed by Iran and also backed by Hezbollah. Those who are the Houthis there, right? This is the first reason Saudi Arabia is escalating the situation in Lebanon, because Saudi Arabia believes that the United States is not doing enough in countering the influence or the growing influence of Iran in the region, and especially in Yemen, which is the number one priority of Saudi Arabia in the region. There is no other priority right now for Saudi Arabia except for Yemen. And the second priority is Iran. We also know, this is the second reason, that the Americans and the Iranians are now negotiating again in order to revive the nuclear deal between the both sides, and Saudi Arabia is unhappy about it again. So Saudi Arabia is not really mad on Lebanon, but it is mad on the United States for not doing enough about Iran to counter the influence of Iran in Yemen, number one, and to counter the influence of Iran in the region as a whole, because Washington is now negotiating with Tehran again. And the third reason, which is of less importance, is the Americans are now giving platform to Saudi opposition figures in their media outlets, in the American media outlets. For example, the other day, the former Saudi spy master Saad al-Jabri, he said on the 60 Minutes, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman fears what he knows, including al-Jabri's claim that there was a 2014 meeting in which Mohammed bin Salman said he could kill the sitting king using a poison ring he obtained from Russia. So the claim here is that the former Saudi spy master Saad al-Jabri says that he attended a meeting with MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, in 2014, in which Mohammed bin Salman told him that he would kill the former king by poisoning him. So, I mean, these revelations at this particular moment, we have to ask also the timing of it and why the Americans are giving this now former spy master a platform, right? So all in all, Saudi Arabia is not really mad on Lebanon. It is mad on the United States because the United States is not doing enough from the Saudi perspective to counter the Iranian influence in the region. And that is why, if you remember the video that I posted a few days ago about the possibilities of a civil war in Lebanon, you will understand that 2 weeks ago, the Lebanese Forces Party, headed by notorious war criminal Samir Jaja, his militias opened fire on unarmed protesters, and they killed 6 civilians in Lebanon. And these civilians were pro-Amal, which is a Shia movement in Lebanon, and also pro-Hezbollah. So by doing so, Jaja and behind him Saudi Arabia, they tried to ignite a civil war in Lebanon, and they wanted for Hezbollah and Amal to retaliate very heavily for that Saudi Arabia can intervene again. But all this charade, all this circus is to force the Americans to weigh in Lebanon more and weigh in more in Yemen. So Saudi Arabia is just trying to practice pressure now on the Americans for them to renegotiate with the Saudis, because their interests aren't really, they're not really satisfied, and their interests aren't really met in the region, or ignored maybe by the Americans. But the United States doesn't really want to escalate the situation in Lebanon right now, because for the United States, it seems that some of the elements in the American administration, they have learned their lessons, that if they escalate now in Lebanon, it will happen like in Syria, it will happen like in Iraq, or even in Yemen. Everywhere the Americans escalated the tensions against Iran, Iran gained more influence. Iran has much better influence now in Iraq, much better influence in Yemen, and much better influence in Syria. And if they ignite a war there, a civil war, they may lose the entire Lebanon, because half the country is now pro-United States, pro-Saudi Arabia, pro-the West, and half of them is pro-Iran, pro-Syria, or pro the Eastern Bloc, right? So the Americans don't want to escalate because they are worried that they may lose the entire country, but the Saudis are, they think that they can control Lebanon by escalating the situation. So these two conflicting interests reflected on Lebanon, and it led to this new escalation by the Saudi side, and they expelled the Lebanese ambassador, and they are asking other Gulf countries to expel the Lebanese ambassadors too. This is the truth of the matter, and it has nothing to do with the statement of George Kardahi, the Minister of Information of Lebanon. This was all. This was a quick video for you to inform about what's happening in Lebanon. And guys, I'm posting today at 18 Central European Time a very important interview with Jeff Lemire. He wrote an op-ed article a few days ago in the Newsweek about the failure of he says the US mission in Syria is a failure. Don't make it a catastrophe, and he calls for the withdrawal of the US forces from Syria. He's a fellow at the Defense Priorities. So it's a very important interview I'm posting today on Syriana Analysis. I would really like you to go and watch it today. I will premiere it at 18. You can find already the video scheduled for today. I've been your host, Kerak Almasian of Syriana Analysis. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe. And see you next time.